Yo guys, welcome back. It's currently Sunday, 12:11 p.m. It might rain today. It's kind of cloudy actually. I'm laying in bed, but I'll show you. Yeah, maybe it might rain. It actually rained at like 4 or 5 a.m. I couldn't fall asleep till 5 a.m. because my blanket was really hot. But I took my blanket off and wore like a. I was sleeping in like a very thin one, and then I eventually fell asleep. But then I got cold at like 7 a.m., and then I woke up and I put on my original blanket. I covered myself with it, and yeah, then I fell asleep and I woke up at 11. So even though I fell asleep at 5 a.m., I'm feeling good because I got like 6 hours of sleep. And I don't like staying up super late, like although I did go to bed very late at 4 a.m. I just couldn't fall asleep. But yeah, I just left my cat in the room. So yeah, my cat's in the room with me. Cat, come here. Come here, cat. Cat. Yeah, there's my cat. But anyways, guys, sorry my cat was a major distraction. I had to pause the video and then let her out. But anyways, guys, so in this video, I want to talk about DNA. And, I find it really crazy how powerful DNA is. DNA is like such a powerful tool for law enforcement, Law enforcement, like, it's crazy how, like, they're able to obtain DNA and how DNA, like, can stay for, like, decades, literally. It's honestly crazy. Like the thing with DNA, like, okay, even if I were to take my hand and touch this, you can't see any visible DNA. Like, I mean, if I cut myself, for example, and I was bleeding, then you would see my blood over here, right? But the thing is, yeah, like this is not visible DNA, so you can't see my DNA, but it's crazy that law enforcement, they could literally like take a brush, or I don't know what they use, but they can find your fingerprints, and your fingerprints can literally stay for years, literally years. Now, the thing is, if it was like, if you left your DNA outside and it was like raining, for example, or snowing, I don't know too much, but I feel like the DNA would get washed off. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not entirely, but it would be much harder to obtain it. But it's insane how like powerful DNA is. And the forensics team, they use all sorts of methods regarding DNA. Like, it's not just your DNA. They use other stuff. Like, let's say you committed a crime, they will also like use your clothes to as evidence. I don't know, like they might like observe your footprints. If you left footprints, they'll identify your shoe size, your like how your footprint looks like and stuff like that. And then they might also use other methods like your clothing fibers, or I don't know what it's called, but yeah, they'll use that. But yeah, it's crazy. Like DNA is absolutely insane. And I actually studied forensics when I was in college, and yeah, that type of stuff. It involves DNA. My teacher who taught the class, he's like a instructor, but he used to be like some kind of forensics like investigator. He would show up at crime scenes, but it's messed up because if you have that job, you see dead bodies all the time. You see cut off hands because some people are crazy. They murder someone, and then you have to see that stuff if you're one of those investigators, like crime scene investigators. You have to wear a whole suit so that you don't contaminate the evidence with your own DNA. Yeah, it's crazy. You can find like knives, blood, even food. We had to actually, when I was in college, we had to wear these suits actually and go to like a fake crime scene. It wasn't real, obviously, but we had to like observe it and like, like write down notes. And there was like fake blood, a fake hand. The teacher put that on purpose, and it had to be kind of like a real life scenario. I don't know, like as if, And I have a book somewhere about forensics. Actually, I'm gonna see if I can find it somewhere. It's like this book over here that I have. This was my college book, my textbook that I used. And yeah, it's all about forensics and DNA. But I don't need this book because, like, I don't go to college. I actually have a lot of these books. I tried to sell them. One girl rang my doorbell, and actually I sold her one of my books, and she gave me money for that. But yeah, but like, I might consider selling these books. I don't really need them, but I'm not going to sell them right away. Maybe like next time when a new semester begins and college students need the books, then I could give them away. But yeah, guys, so DNA is absolutely crazy because here's the thing. If you commit a crime, right? And this is actually something that's really crazy about DNA. So let's just say you commit a crime, but you don't have a prior criminal record. So it's crazy. Law enforcement, they'll take your DNA. Now, there's no guarantee they'll find you because you don't have a prior criminal record. So, but they can still take your DNA, and it could be stored on their database for like years, literally years. It's absolutely insane. And not even years, even decades. And yeah, it's just absolutely crazy. And then, like, while they might not find you, if you were to commit another crime later, like, let's say you committed another crime, even if it was like 10 years later, they'll actually, like, they might take your DNA. But if they take your DNA and then put it on their database, there'll be a match. It'll match on their database computer that they already collected your DNA at this time, even if it was 10 years ago. That's how a lot of cold cases get solved, because, if you committed another crime again and then you got your DNA taken, it's going to match the DNA that you already had in their, database. And then you'll get charged with additional crimes. So yeah, a lot of really old, cold cases, they got solved like that, and it's actually really crazy. And I actually have one crazy thing I wanted to tell you, but I'm running low on storage, so I'll make a second video, and then I'm just gonna combine the two videos together. But yeah. But yeah, so the crazy story that I had to tell you is that like, this is also regarding like DNA and forensics. This one actor, he actually went to prison for like 32 years, and it's crazy. I never knew about this at all. And some of you guys might be familiar with him. If you've seen Austin Powers, like, which I love those movies, by the way, they're really funny. But there's an actor in that movie, and he's actually in prison for like over 32 years. And I never knew about that. I actually just now found out. And yeah, you guys might be familiar with him. His name is Jo Sun. He's this Korean actor. He was born in South Korea, and he was like a boxer, and I think he did martial arts, and he did like judo, and he even traveled to Japan to fight people there. Like, yeah, he did that, and he was also in several comedy movies. But yeah, he was in the first Austin Powers movie, and he was hired by, Dr. Evil to kill Austin Powers or whatever. You know that guy who threw a shoe at Austin Powers' face or whatever? Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy. The actor who played as him, Jo Sun, or whatever his name is, he's in jail, or he's in prison for like 32 years. So that's really crazy. But yeah, and what he did is really horrible because he had a very dark secret that he didn't tell anyone, and he's been hiding it for almost 20 years. But in 1990, Christmas Eve of 1990, he and his friend, they saw like a woman outside, and they did horrible things to her. You know, they beat her up severely until she was maybe unconscious even, or almost unconscious. They did horrible things to her. They kidnapped her. They sexually assaulted her. They did all sorts of really bad things to her. And they threatened to kill her, but they only didn't kill her because, you know, it's going to be Christmas. He said, like, I'm only letting you live because it's Christmas or whatever. But yeah, it's fucked up. So she went to the authorities, and then the police, they never found Joe Sun or his friend. However, they obtained their DNA, and they kept their DNA in their database. But since they had no prior criminal record, it was impossible to find them. But then, 18 years later, in 2008, Joe Sun committed another crime. He smashed his roommate's car, which is really stupid. He went to prison, or sorry, jail, because jail is something, like, it's when you commit less serious crimes. So yeah, so he went to jail, and he got released from jail after like 2 months maybe. He got placed on probation. Now, he would have gotten away with it, believe it or not, even after going to jail, but he violated his parole or probation. And so because of that, he went back to jail, and then that's when they wanted to take his DNA. You know, they had to have his DNA. They took his DNA, put it in a database, and right away it matches his DNA that was from 1990, from the horrible crime he committed then. It matched. He denied it though. He said he didn't do that, but then they also like tried to find his friend. They found his friend, took his DNA, and then it also matched that crime on Christmas Eve of 1990. So he was given at first like 7 years in prison, but I don't know, he murdered one of his cellmates in prison a few years later. This one like sex offender who was in prison, and he killed him, and because of that he got 32 years in prison, but I feel like he's never getting out.